We need to move on to some other issues now. GetUp, I told you all about GetUp volunteer campaigners. Well, they're now angry that GetUp are spending way more of their money on staffing and salaries, administration costs and travel than they ever thought possible. Now, Queensland Senator Amanda Stoker has got up in the Parliament and laid out the case, as she sees it, against GetUp. But I have to say, Amanda Stoker, that really, I think the scales came off people's eyes at the last election, didn't they? They now see GetUp as the left activist organisation we've always taken it to be.
There has definitely been progress in people starting to firm up their understanding of the kind of toxic, divisive, destructive organisation that GetUp is. But having had some figures come out over the last week about how of the $12.4 million that were donated by naive, probably very good Australians thinking they were contributing to a better country, under the promise that they would all be invested in campaigns and billboards and hard-hitting TV ads, not even 29 cents in the dollar was spent on campaigns. The rest went on executive salaries and their travel. And so that kind of dishonesty has got their membership angry. But as someone looking at it from the other side of the political fence, it's the kind of dishonesty and dirty tactics we have seen over and over again from GetUp. And last night in the chamber, I took the opportunity to expose one of their nastiest tactics, which is called bird dogging.
Yeah, and I think I've got a grab. I don't know specifically of that issue. Let's have a listen.
And as GetUp burns its reputation by treating people as commodities to be fleeced and then deployed for the nastiest of work, don't think GetUp will end. It's a beast with many heads, each one looking different so it can continue to trick naive Aussies into giving them more money and time. With scarcely concealed front organisations like Colour Code and the Australian Youth Climate Coalition, this monster will keep morphing so that it can keep its cohort of hard left executives in a job.
All right, tell me about bird dogging, is that what you call it?
Yeah, it's a term that derives from an American hunting practice, and it was pioneered by the US Democrats in their primary arrangements. So you can see a lot of that coming out, I suppose, in the tactics you're seeing in the US at the moment. But it's the process that GetUp has of teaching teams of its volunteers and staff to form groups, to harass, to yell, to be absolutely appallingly behaved, to verbally disrupt in every way they possibly can, to physically disrupt candidates when they're out in the field, when they're talking to people, at meetings, even in public places like parks and shopping centres and kindies. And the purpose of it is not just to make it hard for them to communicate with good ordinary voters, but it's also designed to psychologically crush the opposition so that they aren't able to get up the next day and keep on working. One of the examples, though, of the ugly nature of this kind of behaviour is that it, in the last election, empowered some of the worst behaviour we have ever seen in Australia during an election campaign. My colleague and friend Nicole Flint, the member for Boothby, experienced the worst examples of bird dogging. They hassled her everywhere she went, zoom lens cameras snapping her 24 hours a day, including as she ran her errands and went home. She had to get stalking orders against people who would not leave her alone, and she reported feeling scared in her home at night because she didn't know when this stalker was going to take the next step and be even more dangerous. And the problem with it is that these bird dogging tactics and the toxic, nasty approach of GetUp doesn't just teach people how to do this, but they feed it and empower it. You know, this bloke who was on the order, he wasn't told by GetUp to stop. He was encouraged. His posts were shared. His blow-by-blow photographs of Nicole in the field were posted online to encourage others to also go and harass her. This stuff is not okay.
Yeah, well, just on that point, though, I mean, if this was a former partner, let's say, or an ex-boyfriend of Nicole Flint, we'd be asking the police to step in. Why are we allowing it with a group that gets DGR or taxpayer-funded donation credits? Why are we allowing that for an entity that sets itself up as some sort of arbiter of where, you know, sound policy should be headed in this country? Or why are we allowing it when we do reviews, as we always do, after every federal election, and every report for about the last 15 years is called into question the tactics and the politics of GetUp, and particularly where they get their money from? It's all been discussed, Amanda, but we have this conversation every single time we talk about GetUp, and they still exist. It's only, I think, at the last election when the right took on GetUp and were prepared really to really go after them and call them out, and there are organisations like Advance Australia, that we've seen a reaction from the people who supported them in good faith.
Look, I think that's right. There have been efforts made to help, for instance, the Australian Electoral Commission understand that this is not an independent group. It's a group of people run by stooges from the Australian Labor Party and the Greens of the most extreme kind who want to tear down others. And those rulings were made, and then they were challenged by GetUp, and they were sort of set aside. But there is no substitute for just helping people understand what it is they're backing if they put their money into GetUp. The challenge, though, will be to make sure that they also understand the successor front organisations that we can expect to replace GetUp, because as they burn their reputation, they need to find new ways to keep their hard left toxic agenda happening and to keep their people in a job.
That is very astute of you, Amanda, because we have already seen there are a number of entities, satellite entities, if I could call them that, of GetUp, where there are shared board memberships. I suspect, I don't know, but I suspect agreement or movement of money between these various entities, almost, to phoenix these entities into being. Should GetUp have to be rebranded and go under, they need somewhere else to take that campaigning skill. So, yeah, you are very, very astute to point that out. That's the next watch. But I hope this is not your last speech on GetUp, Senator. I'll let you go. Thanks very much for your time tonight.
Thanks very much.